Hello there, everyone. My name is Chris, and I am coming to you as part of a series called Jacob Lenhoff Tours America. And coming to you from my place of employment, which is it's called a guidance care center. It is a behavioral health center, and what that means is behavioral health covers a lot of things. It's mental health, it's substance abuse help, it's general health, medical, like from a primary care doctor. Particularly what I do here, or what I'm going to be doing for the next 2 days because I'm moving to another job, is I'm the HIV guy. So I offer counseling, outreach, education, and also rapid testing for people that want to find out if they have it. And if they do get it, then we match them up with services, get them matched up with doctors, case managers, and a method to help pay for their medication. So my job is to test 10 people per month for HIV, and that actually doesn't take very long. So I do help out in other ways, especially since COVID came along. COVID has really made challenges for us because people were getting sick left and right, calling in, being out for weeks at a time, and also people in the community were dealing with stuff like being around their kids and their family a lot more than they used to, which led to a lot of like domestic abuse problems, child abuse problems. People spent a lot of time at home being bored, so they would, if they had a substance abuse issue in the past, then it was a great chance for them to relapse. And so we were there to help out a lot. And when they predicted, the media, and also people in behavioral health predicted what would happen as a result of the pandemic, everything happened that they predicted. We had a huge influx of clients that had a whole laundry list of needs, each and every one of them. So it was very challenging to work through that time. It has calmed down quite a bit, but you know, the after effects of COVID and the isolation and the what do they call that, the lockdown, really did cause a lot of rippling effects, and we're still dealing with it. So one thing I do in addition to testing people for HIV and giving them counseling about it, is I'd help do intakes. So when people are coming here and they're looking for services, first thing we do is have this long intake with them and find out what their history was like, what kind of services they need, and then later on match them up with any particular service that we have here or in the community that would assist them in the best way. So what kind of cases, clients that we have, so it's, like I said, it's all over the place. People with mental health issues, a lot of depression and anxiety combinations, then you know, substance abuse, so people who are dealing with opiate use, which, you know, the withdrawal from that can be very, very painful. So we have ways of helping them get through that and also be able to, you know, hold a job and have a productive life and, you know, and move forward. I guess the funnest part of my job and the most difficult part of my job, I would say those are probably like the same thing. So during these intakes, I love finding out about people. So it's a lot of questions, and a lot of times people will say things that it's very interesting. It's just, and you want to hear more about it. They tell you more about it. And it's always fun to hear people's stories. But what's most fun is trying to figure out what they're not telling you, because there's their story and then there's what really happened. So trying to piece those together, asking the right questions, asking open-ended questions, but at the same time not grilling them, having them feel like you're on their side. And by getting information from them, is a way of serving them in the best way, and also getting the correct story, the whole story, is can be a challenge. It can be fun and it can be difficult. So I really enjoy both those things. Most successful outcome that I've had here. Wow. Let's see. I would have to say that I did an intake with a 19-year-old, easy for me to say, woman who, good Lord, from 19 years of life, she had more trauma in her history, enough for 3 or 4 people. Being raised in Mexico with a family in the cartel, and she was also part Navajo and part Latino, so she was not good enough on either side of those. She was abused, physically abused, sexually abused by a boyfriend. When she wanted to get an abortion, her parents said no. So, yeah, when she came in here, she started talking into this very office, sitting in that chair right there, and talked about what had happened in her life, and then to watch her fold into a ball and start scratching herself and having to try to get her back into a safe place, get her to realize she's not in that situation anymore. She was crying and saying to herself, I shouldn't have done this, I shouldn't be talking about this. And so the woman had a lot going on, she had a lot of trauma, but she had a strength about her that she got through doing art and through her friends in school, not from her family at all. So got her on medication, seeking therapy. And for anybody out there that's interested in this, when you're dealing with any kind of trauma, that can be re-traumatizing. Yeah. So talking about the events that brought you the most traumatic symptoms, like not trusting anyone, always on the lookout for danger, hearing a loud noise and jumping, having dreams, nightmares, flashbacks, all those things. But there's a way to do this. It's called EMDR, and it has to do with eye movements, and it's a way to bring the trauma back, but then through the use of lights or symbols or hand motions, it can be reframed and changed. So it's no longer a traumatic memory, because we have our regular memories, right? So we remember what happened last night, the things that we did, the people that we saw, stuff we talked about, and it kind of plays out as a narrative. First I did this, then I did this, then he did that, and then traumatic memories are different. So they are stored in a different part of the brain. They remember sensory stuff. So traumatic memories will have feelings, smells, sights. The same emotions will be there. The same feelings of panic and danger. People will actually feel, if they're physically abused, they'll feel the where people hit them before, or if they were hit by a car, they'll feel where that car hit them. So, traumatic memories are very interesting and very delicate to deal with. So helping people with trauma is really great, and it's very rewarding. And what else about trauma? So back to this client, we were able to get her into this alternate therapy of dealing with trauma, where she didn't have to recall every single event, and it was really working for her, really working for her. And and I actually made help the therapist make connections. Instead, because we have one therapist here that does that type of trauma therapy, and I said, hey, would you be interested in doing this for this client? She's like, sure. So I made the connection, and then she was on the road to feeling much better about herself. So I do believe that is the end of part 1. We'll put a little pause here and find part 2, and I'll keep talking to you.